Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Drew. This is JustAGuyLinux, and you're currently looking at XFWM, which was part 2 in our series on floating window managers that happen to be in the Debian packages. Today is part 4, and the topic is Ratpoison. I've been attempting to educate myself about Ratpoison. I remember a comment on one of the videos that I did, and the commenter mentioned that they used Ratpoison. It could have been quite a while ago. I have no recollection other than it stuck with me. And I thought to myself, Ratpoison, that sounds like an interesting window manager. Until today, in fact, I didn't realize it was a tiling window manager. I have a feeling it's going to be manual tiling. At the same time, I didn't even get the joke that Ratpoison meant basically no mouse, you know? So I have a feeling that there is going to be mouse support. I just don't know that out of the box it will have mouse support. We're going to figure it out. I have confidence that we'll be able to figure things out. But I recognize that this is a niche of a niche of a niche. And for the 4 of you that are still watching this video, thank you so much. But let's move on. So let's go to the terminal and let's go ahead and install Ratpoison. Okay, wow. So let's talk a little bit about light. Okay, it's not after this operation. Less than 500K of additional disk space will be used. All right, well, let's go with that. All right, and let's clear the screen. Now, I recognize also that it does not add a desktop file. So like with XFWM, we have to do that manually. So let's go to user share X sessions. And what we're going to do is we're going to cat openbox. Oop. And let's just copy this. Okay. Copy. And now let's sudo micro. And then this is Ratpoison .desktop. Okay, and let's paste that in, and we're going to say Ratpoison. Ah, goodness. Why can't I spell poison? All right, let's log into Ratpoison. Okay, let's go ahead and just get that and copy, and let's go down one. And let's paste that. And paste that. Whoop. And one more. And let's paste that. And let's Control C and Control Q. And now all we really need to do is log out of this and see what we got. So Super X and log out. And oh, there's Ratpoison. And let's log in. All right, first things first. Look up in the right corner. Welcome to Ratpoison. Hit Control. Oh, that was Control T, and then that was fast. So Control T and the question mark. Okay. So let's go to Control T and then use the question mark, and it's giving me a lot of key bindings. Okay. I have a feeling that we're going to be able to write our own key bindings, but for now, that's pretty cool. So I'm trying to see if anything stands out to me. Okay, so Control C is a terminal. I just think it cleared the screen. Okay, so if I hit Control T, C, wow. Okay, so Tilix comes up. Cool. And a mouse comes up. Now, I wasn't expecting that. Okay, I was not expecting that, a mouse to come up. All right, so let's do, there was a Control T and a period too. So Control T, period. And so now you can, I'm just looking to see if okay, the mouse does work. Interesting. Shells, bash. Okay, let's go back. System, administration. Okay. This is all new, guys. So this is something that, oh, let me go back one more. Go back. Viewers, what does that mean? Network web browsing. Oh, W3M and links. Well, I definitely, it's not, well, obviously it's not picking up any of the applications we have. Okay, because we definitely have Firefox installed. We've been using it on every other window manager that we've done in this series. So let's, can I just escape? How do I cancel? Okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and just close this. Now, at least we know that we can get to a terminal. I also wanted to try Control T and exclamation. So let's hit that. Oh, and so up here in the corner, it's giving me a prompt to run a command like Firefox. Okay. All right. Well, notice also, I mean, the way at least I've set it up is there's no way to close anything at this point either. So you actually have to go to the menu to quit. You have to go to the mouse to quit. Okay, I get it. Unless there's like a kill type thing. Anyway, we'll get to that apparently. All right, quit. All right, so also, so before we get a little bit more into this, I want to know two more things. One is how to quit the environment, and the other is what happens when you have multiple windows. So if I hit Control T C, Control T C, so it's got two windows concurrently. So if I hit Control T exclamation and then Firefox, does that open up? Okay. So it just stacks them at this point. Okay, I get that. Is there a way to grab this? No, everything is in full screen. Okay, so we would need to know how to get through the stack. So, okay, I'm looking at my notes real quick. Sorry. So Control T N and then Control T P. All right. So we can definitely work with the shortcuts here. All right. So let's go ahead and just close. Actually, we don't need to. I just want to know how to. So if I hit Control T and then colon, that command prompt comes up, and I think all we need to do is hit quit, and that's it. Okay. So what I learned right then basically was it's opening everything in full screen. There is some mouse to it. You can cycle through the windows and you can quit the environment. So all of that is good information. It is running very, very light. So let's try to make this a little bit more usable for me. Full disclosure, the last portion of the video was actually 2 days ago, and now we're much later in the process of me understanding how to effectively use Ratpoison, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in, and you're going to see now there's a wallpaper, and I'm using nitrogen for that. And so probably the best way for me to articulate is to show you what the ratpoisonrc file looks like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Thunar. By default, there is no ratpoisonrc file, so you have to create your own, okay? And I've seen a few different ones, but it really took me a while to come up with a better strategy, okay? Well, let's talk about that in a second. But after I open the ratpoisonrc file, all right, obviously nitrogen is going to be your wallpaper manager. I am using Dunst. This line here allows you to create 9 workspaces, okay? And if you're familiar with BSPWM, you'll know that a lot of times you actually have to put a line like this in so that you can get a pointer that looks normal, okay? Before, it kind of had the crosshair mouse, and now it's using that left pointer, which is common for Windows or what have you. So I'm not exactly sure if I need Dunst in this situation, so I'm just going to go ahead and just comment that out. Startup message off. I don't know that that's actually working correctly, or if this is the right syntax or command. So I don't know. I'm going to take a closer look at this one. But everything here is to affect the Ratpoison execute dialog box. I don't know if that's right, but basically when you say super and then the colon, this dialog box comes up. And so what it's doing is it's putting it in the center with some padding, and the font is going to be this source code nerd font, blah, blah, blah. The background color is 222, and then the foreground color is CCC, okay? Now notice I said super, okay? Instead of control, or control T, and then something. Basically, I changed the control T to affect something's going to happen next to just the left super key, okay? So that makes a lot easier. So what would you use this panel for? For me, 90% of the time, I'm either saying restart or quit. I mean, that's really all I'm using it for. I think that at this point, let's put it that way. At this point, that's all really I'm using it for, okay? So I'm going to cancel that out. Now, this is the most important part, okay? Because this kind of took me a while to kind of come up with a strategy here. And granted, I'm probably just really, really slow. But, you know, with you guys, who have seen my videos, you know that I like to use combination, or basically keybind chords. So when I say super B in DWM or BSPWM or whatever, I mean to open my browser, super B browser, okay? Now you can do that in this. You can just say super B, basically, okay? Binds this, which is this key here, okay, to super B to execute Firefox. Now notice I did not do that, okay? Because everywhere else, when you're trying to do something, it makes it a lot harder, okay? Especially if you want to move something. Now I'm going to say that most Ratpoison users probably don't do things this way, but it's such a niche of a niche of a niche. I didn't know exactly who I should be looking at. I have seen Ratpoisonrc files that use like a combination. So say they want to move a open window to a different workspace, okay? They are using a combination. So basically it'd be like Control S1, all right? I did not get that to work correctly, all right? So what I thought about doing was using a strategy for keybinds very much similar to a leader key in NeoVim. When I started to think of it in that direction, it made things a lot easier for me in my head, okay? Because I am not a good NeoVim user, but I understand I have a NeoVim configuration which utilizes a leader key. My leader key is the spacebar. And, you know, when I say spacebar E, it comes up with tree sitter, for example. So it makes sense for me. Okay, obviously the leader key here is going to be the super key. Okay, so let's just say I want to close Genie. Okay, so basically I have to hit the super. Now look over here, you can see what the mouse has done. It basically says something else is about to happen here. And when I hit Q, it basically closed Genie. So just in full disclosure, I also made, oh, not that. I also made one little change here. Okay, I put in a message wait, and you're going to understand why in a minute. Okay, I put a message wait in to extend the length of time that basically the feedback. So it's kind of like Dunst feedback. All right, it will show you where you are in either a workspace, or if you are attempting to frame or tile something, okay? So let's talk about that for a minute, all right? I am going to go ahead and super Q. And when I say super Q, I usually mean super plus Q at the same time. But no, again, a leader key. So super, and then take your hand off the keyboard, not hand, you know, you don't have to go that far, but super, and then release, and then Q, and then release. And it closes that application, okay? Now, while I'm here looking at this, we're going to vertically split the screen. So how do you do that? You say super, again, look at the mouse, and it shows it's in that mode, okay? And then I'm gonna hit, because I need a capital S to do this, so Shift S. And what it did was it framed two sides of the same of the screen. All right. So I am currently in this side of the screen. Now you don't have any way to get to this side, okay, unless you say super right. Now there is a way to get this to work with your mouse moving over to the opposite side, okay? So like if I hit super left, see where this says the current frame? I know it didn't actually show longer than I thought. I thought it would show longer, all right? Super right, and then that's the current frame. So when I start Genie again, super E, it actually shows up in that particular frame. Okay, so for me, it's all about the manipulation of applications and space, and that can all be done and should all be done with the keyboard. Okay, only when you are actually using an application should you be using the mouse at all. Okay, that's really powerful in that, but at the same time, a departure from what I am currently used to, okay? So what happens here? I just want to put in a couple more things in terms of keybinds, okay? So it says bind Q, or this is a capital Q, so you're going to say bind Shift Q, okay? So what's on the current? So the current is the right side. So if I say bind Shift Q, okay, what it did was it maximized the screen basically, okay? It maximized the screen to the point where it's still got Thunar still open. So if I hit super leader key super N, it's going to show it in a different, you know, maximized as well. So super N, and I'm back to Genie. All right. So how do I get it back? Ooh, I hit a button that I wasn't prepared for. Okay, so super Q. There we go. So that just closed it. Super N, super N. Yep. All right. So from my perspective, I just simply go super Shift S again. All right, it puts it on different sides, and obviously, because Genie was the active application or window, it put it on the left, and obviously Thunar got relegated, I guess, to the right side of the screen. So I don't know that you can say the master side or the stack side, but I guess you can, because the master side is going to be on the left and the stack side is going to be on the right. Okay? So there are some scenarios here. So right currently, the current frame is Thunar. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually send it to a different workspace. So but to do that, I'm going to say leader key or super and then control 2. All right? So not only does it like maximize, there's only one frame on workspace 2, and it basically focused on workspace 2 because I moved it there. All right? So let's just say I want to go to the next frame. There is no next frame, but super N. All right? No other window is there. All right? But let's go back to workspace 1, super 1. Okay? The frame is still there to be able to put whatever we want in that. The current frame is that open space. So let's just say I want to go super enter. So now the open space is being populated by Tilix. So understand that Tilix is the current frame. So if I say super N or next, there is no other window for that particular frame. Okay? I'm going to go back to super 1. Oh, sorry, super 2, where Thunar is. And if I send that back to workspace 1, super control 1, okay, it put it within the current frame, which was that right side. So where did our Tilix go? Well, basically you could say it's underneath because it's been framed. So when I say super N, I can switch between those two applications within that current frame. Interesting. Okay. Now, let's say I want both of them to show. All right. I want to split, and we're going to do it, since we've done a vertical split, we're going to do a horizontal split. So now I'm going to say super S, lowercase s, and it horizontally split that current workspace into 2 frames. So I've added 2 more commands, basically keybinds. One's for remove and the other one's for undo. Okay? So let me give you a demonstration of that. So I'm going to do, what I'm going to do is I'm in the terminal, and I'm going to move it to workspace 2. So super control 2. All right. Now when I go back to workspace 1, there we go. There is a blank where the current frame is, like we've talked about before. But let's just say I want to remove that and just keep it, keep it just 2 frames. Okay. So super R, and it removed that 3rd frame, and it allowed us to have everything in, side by side. Let's go back to 2. Okay. Now, let's say I want to open up a horizontal frame. Okay. And I'm like, I didn't want to do that. I can also just say super U, and it undid what I just did, by creating a new frame. Or splitting the frame is what I should say. All right, let's go back to workspace 1, okay? Because I did add a couple more things, and that includes these binds here, where it has basically Shift R or capital R, and Shift X or capital X to restart or quit. Because a lot of times what I was doing is I was doing a leader key or super, and then colon, and then saying restart, which was taking a long time for me to then reinitialize the configuration file. Also, if I wanted to exit all the way, I would have to do this, And now you have a keybind that does those two things. So I'm trying to eliminate using the colon this as much as I can. But at the same time, I kind of like it because it is, like I said before, kind of Vim-like in that motions, leader key, colon, and so on. Okay. I also put in a control, like a resize mode. Okay. So right now, I think that the current frame is Thunar. So if I hit super and then Control R, it puts it in resize. It says resize frame. Now I can go right or left arrow key until I get to the point where I'm done, and I can just say enter. And then it's, you know, now the resize is complete, and I can move on to the next task. Let's just say I want to super Q. It leaves the frame open. I'm going to go back over to super or workspace 2, and then when I put this, I'm going to go super and then control 1, and it puts it back into the frame. Now, undoing those things, so if like I'm curious actually right now. So if I go bind and undo, I don't even know what just happened, but basically what I think happened was I have no frames. So if I hit super N next, super N next, I've got them. They're not gone, obviously. There's only 2 frames, or sorry, 2 applications open, but 0 frame, or 1 frame, I should say. Okay. So now if I go to super shift S, it's going to put them back into 2 equal sized frames. Now I'm getting towards the end of this particular discussion on Ratpoison because I feel like as a noob on this, I can only offer so much, honestly. I've kind of gotten to the point where I can use this effectively. I would probably do things in this manner though, okay? Right now I'm on workspace 1, but typically with, I'm gonna go over to the current frame, which would be Genie. I usually use workspace 3 for Genie. So I'm gonna go super and then control 3, and it is on it is on workspace 3 now. All right, I'm gonna go back over to 1. Oop. There we go. And now I've got a terminal open. I can kind of put that on, let's just put that on workspace 2. What did I do? Oh, because I had the current frame. Sorry, so I have to switch frames and now send it over to workspace 2. Let's go back over to workspace 1 by using super and then 1. And now I'm just going to open up a browser. So super, then B. And then I'm going to go over to the other frame because there was still 2 frames on the screen, and then say super shift Q. All right. And now I've got full size on 1, super 2, super 3. Let's go over to super 4, and I'm going to open up Thunar and super 5, and then I could open up something completely different there. But let me see what's available to me. There's nothing. I don't have a whole lot here, honestly, guys. So image viewer, how about that? Okay, cool. So there's 5. So if I go super 4, super 3, super 2, super 1, I still have 5 things open. Let me go back over to super 2 because I am curious as to how much. Yeah, I was trying to look for the RAM here just to see. I mean, because it was really light even going into that with 2 things open. But as you know, Firefox being kind of beefy when it comes to memory usage, that doesn't surprise me at all. Okay, so let's go back over to 1. Now, am I going to use this? And probably not. The answer is no, but I respect the heck out of this. And if you are interested in a keyboard-centric window manager where you really have control over everything that you have, this is something that you can consider, and it's really lightweight. I mean, this is interesting to me. It really is. I hope it's interesting to a few of you as well. I know that this is not going to be like, again, this is not going to be everybody's cup of tea when it comes to window managers, because I think it being as keyboard centric as it is, it will only appeal to a small percentage. Let's put it that way. But truth of the matter is, very, very cool. So I am going to conclude this discussion. I may end up coming back to it at some point when I feel a little bit more comfortable. But I am going to be moving on to the next window manager, and I'm not exactly sure what that's going to be. JWM comes to mind. IceWM comes to mind. I'll see you next time.